So it's me again. Well, but there's been a wee bit of a change. Now, I went to get coffee today. Sure, I found a wee lass at my barista, and sure, and she said to me, would you like to have a crazy Irishman coffee? Would you like to try a crazy Irishman? I said, well, oh, no, surely I wouldn't want to, no, would I? Because I'm already a crazy Irishman. And if I had a crazy Irishman drink, I might get crazier. And if I were crazier, I might have more trouble than I already have. So I'll pass on your crazy Irishman drink. Well, oh, she laughed. I like making pretty young girls laugh. Anyway, so my barista said to me, oh, okay, you don't have to get a crazy Irishman since you're already, sure you are already a crazy Irishman. So I thought, maybe that would be better than crazy chef DW, and I could just be crazy Irishman chef. What my name is fluid, and sure, I may be Italian next week. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to make for you, and I can try to keep up. Sean, I'm going to try. I have to say Sean every once in a while. I can't give it up. Sean, I'm going to try to make you think I'm an Irishman. I am an Irishman. Actually, I had my DNA tested, and you know what I did? I found out that I'm 1/3 Irish. That is what I identify with, sure it is. And I identify with the Irish, always have, and if I meet an Irishman, I get along with them right away. And I don't even know they're an Irishman, but suddenly we're getting along. But anyhow, then also, I'm 1/3 Scandinavian, and that's why I have melancholia. And then I'm 1/3 English. Now, you know what? When you're Irish, English, and Scandinavian, you know what your history is, don't you? Shorn, begorn, the story was told long ago of Romeo and Juliet. They're fighting with each other all the time. They got conflicts and wars between the Irish and the English and the Scandinavians and the Norwegians and the Swedish. They get together, they fight out, they don't like each other. And that's why I have all my life had conflicts within my body, because I have all of these nationalities that hate each other, and somehow or other the Irish and the Norwegians got together and made a baby, and somehow or other the Irish and the English got together when they hated each other and made a baby. How does that work? I don't know. And so anyhow, I'm constantly in conflict with myself. And so you pray for me, please, because I'm in need of prayer. Now you might be saying, he's not wearing his white shirt that he wears. He's not wearing his white hat. No, I'm not. Today, I chose to honor a friend of mine by the name of Meg Blake Hossey Zephyrin. God put him in my life through email in 1996. That sounds like, oops, I'm sorry. The English is coming out to me now. I think I might be in the crazy English chef. I think maybe I have personality disorder. What do you think? Anyhow, the point is, I'm going to be English now for a while because I got tired of the Irish. Oh, here it comes back. Sure, here is my Irish accent again. It came back. Anyway, my point is, I'm going to try to make bread today, and I'm crazy, and so it doesn't take long for you. Oh, my shirt. Kelsey, when I say his name, it turns English. I don't know why that is. Megbele Kelsey Zephyrin. And there's a piece of yeast on my shirt. He gave this to me when I went over there. I gave him $33,000 for a project there, and he gave me a shirt. So this is a $33,000 shirt. Hallelujah. Thank you very much. I'm so glad. So I keep it and cherish it every once in a while. When I wear it anywhere, I get a lot of attention. And I think that's one of the reasons my dear, the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life is no longer my wife, is because I wore this shirt. And whenever I wore this shirt, people would say, "Where did you get that shirt?" and I would say, "Oh, I got it." I would tell this story, and she would be standing there like this. I went a very long time telling my stories. So anyway, you might be able to tell that I don't have a problem talking. So anyhow, I'm going to make bread. And I woke up this morning and I said, I'm going to make some bread. I want to make some bread. So I went to look for the ingredients that I use for making bread. And I'm going to give you just a quick shot of the things. I'm going English again. A quick shot of the things that I use to make bread. Now, you may say that does not look like anything I've ever made as bread. Well, that's because I'm the crazy Irish chef. Now I know the tastes of all these, and somehow or other I combine things together that are amazing and fantastic to eat. And yet, if anybody watches me cooking, they will not eat it, because they think in their minds that these things are, they think, if I don't say sure, and I can't do the Irish, if they think somehow or other that when you combine certain foods together, you're foolish, and it won't taste good, but they're wrong. Now we have to, in order, and that's what they call in science, they call it a scotoma. I've been teaching about scotomas lately, yes I have. In my sermons you can see all about scotomas, and they are blind spots. And we all have blind spots, and when we grow up, we think certain things are combined and certain things ought not be combined. They're in Cockney accents now. Certain things ought not be combined. And so we wind up with a condition of disharmony in our minds. It's called cognitive dissonance. And when we have cognitive dissonance, we say, do not combine like avocado with certain foods. Now, I don't have those limitations in my brain. I like to experiment artistically with food. I combine things that people in general would never put together. And that's nice. I combine things that never put together. Anyway, that might be a country western song soon. Yeah, I'm kind of gone a little store crazy in COVID-19. I'm a little loopy, and I'm doing the best I can with what I got to work with, don't you know? And so I'm going to be flipping back and forth between the Swedish and the Irish and the English, because that's what I got in me. I did not do it. My grandparents and my parents they did this to me. So sometimes I'm going to be Swedish, sometimes I'm going to be Irish, sometimes I'm going to be English. So I'm sorry if it bothers you, but that's who I am. I can't seem to help it. So now I'm going to talk about how I'm going to put this together. And I have a variety of flours, as you may have seen. Now, I do cook with wine. I have a nice mystified blend here. I'm mystified by it. It says it's mystifying, and I'm mystified when I find it. So I buy it because I'm mystified. So then I also have Lupin. Now, Lupin is a high-protein, all-purpose flour that has absolutely no gluten in it. Then I also have coconut flour today, and I found this today when I was out trying to find yeast. That's a whole nother story. It took me 3 hours to find any yeast. COVID-19 has eaten up all the yeast. I didn't know that it liked yeast. And I have a coconut flour. And then, I can go back and improve it. Anyway, then I have a gluten-free flour that I use. Okay, so I will be combining, I cook with wine, and I also put some of it in the, you know that joke. And also I use baking powder, and I use yeast. If you saw my joke earlier, you know that I've spent 3 hours today trying to find yeast. I went to no less than 6 stores. I went to Rosa's, I went to Grocery Bargain Market, I went to, I was very persistent. I went to Safeway, I went to Fred Meyer's. What else did I do? It was 6 different, anyhow, I went to all of them, no yeast. So I'm driving home, and I'm refusing to think that maybe I won't be able to find any yeast. And because I think that I want to suspend disbelief. I'm teaching everyone to try to suspend disbelief. So I'm trying really hard to live out what I preach. I don't like, Sean, you know, I don't like to be a hypocrite, and I try really hard not to be. But but you know, it's in the nature of human beings to be hypocrites. So if you don't mitigate that with some kind of choice to control, then you end up doing things that you know you shouldn't do when you tell people not to do them. And that's a no, you don't do that. Okay, now listen. I'm going to make some bread here. And I may have to have several episodes because I'm already at 10 minutes, 11 minutes. Anyway, I'm going to use my blender. I have a blender splatter caster here that also is known as a Vitamix. And I like to call it my blender splatter caster because I blend and I splatter it all over. Okay, and I've already made up some yeast that's getting ready to be placed. So I'm going to combine the gluten-free, the Lupin, and the coconut flour in this mixture. And I've also have in my pan here, I already have several bananas. Here's a banana. You see that? You know that it's a banana, because when you see a banana, you know a banana is a banana, because nothing else looks like a banana. Well, never mind. We're going to, I'm squishing on the bananas now as we speak. Now, if I had a video crew, and I wasn't just all by myself in the COVID virus world, then I might be able to show you me squishing a banana. But I really think that you probably are capable of understanding and recognizing what squishing a banana looks like, because you may have squished a banana in the past on your own. My hunch is you have. And so when you squish the banana, it changes its form slightly, and you can integrate it into a mixture that, well, this mixture is highly idiotic. It looks very bad, especially that banana has sat with oxygen on it for very long, because you know bananas don't stay all white unless you eat them before they turn brown. But you know, the browning banana also, when it's browned, it gives a much better look to your bread. So the crazy Irish chef wants to tell you to let your banana, once you've squished it, just let it sit here for a while. Don't try to keep it from turning brown, because when you get that in your bread when you're done, you get a nice golden brown that you wouldn't have gotten if you had not let the banana turn to brown. Now, I'm so glad you're here. How are you now today? Yes, I'm making this. I'm about ready now to put a little wine in the mixture. And you know, never mind. You heard that already. So I feel, now I'm an artist in so many ways. And you know, Saul and I went to figure out how to open this little sucker. You know, someone be going, I'm still strong enough to open a jar. Isn't that a beautiful thing? You know, at this age, you begin to wonder whether you're going to be able to open a jar tomorrow or not. Well, shut up, you little leprechaun. You're not supposed to be in here. Go outside where you belong. All right, now, this is coconut flour. I'm going to put this in my mixture. And as I said, I would show you the mixture, but I don't want to pick the phone up, because every time I pick up the phone, I touch something. And if you touch something, you mess it up. And I'm tired of messing stuff up. I'm especially good at that, messing things up that I touch. So now I'm going to put some baking powder in it. And the crazy Irish chef never measures anything. He just sticks stuff in there. And he deals with it later if it's a problem. And so I'm going to put some of this wonderful gluten-free flour. Now it has tapioca, it has some rice, and I do avoid gluten-free flour that has potato in it, because potatoes and I simply have chosen to separate ourselves, and we do not get along. And when I eat any, when I find myself eating any of that substance, my body goes, don't eat that thing again. So I've chosen to repent of that, as I have of many things. Okay, now I have this wonderful raw honey, and I buy raw honey. And this honey, you got to watch out, sure, you got to watch out, don't you know? Don't you know that the honey you get might be really honey, or might have been cut with a whole bunch of sugar that they put in to make it more, and then they call it honey, but it doesn't usually say it's real honey. So when you get in honey, consider the source. And then when you're meeting people that you don't know, consider the source. So I'm putting some honey. Now, I'm not measuring how I'm putting the honey in, and I'm not worried about putting honey in. Honey helps you in so many ways. Honey helps you with your immune system. It strengthens you. It is extremely good. It has a very low glycemic index, and that low glycemic index makes it much easier for your body to process this honey. Now, I want to say that the FDA, oh, that sounds like a song. I want to say that the FDA has told us that honey's good, but refined sugar, baby, refined sugar is a poison. And the FDA has said that. Yes, they have. Now, if you don't realize that the FDA has announced officially that refined sugar of any kind is a poison, then you're misinformed. And because we don't pay attention to science, we don't look and watch and determine what is safe and what is not, we have a tendency to continue to do things that are unwise. And the reason why we do that is back to the scotoma again. The scotoma causes us to have a blind spot because we believe something that is not true. Now, we think it's true, and as a consequence, everything we see, if it contradicts what we believe is true, then what happens is we choose to disregard that information and redefine it in such a way that we do not see it. And in such a way, we are blinded to so many things, so we are. And anyway, I put some flour in here, and I'm going to wait. I have a tendency to make enough food when I cook for 700 people. And I do not know, I think there's something wrong with me. Well, I'm crazy, as I have said. I'm a crazy Irishman, or I might be a crazy Norwegian or a Scandinavian of some kind, or I might be a crazy Scottish man. I don't have any Scottish in me, but I still might be a crazy, or I might be a crazy Englishman. It may be all at once, I don't know. Hey, I don't know. Do you know? Can you tell me exactly what kind of weirdo I am? Well, you can definitely see that I'm a weirdo. That's not a problem. So I'm squishing this all together. You know how to squish. Here, I have a picture of the squishing. There's my squishing, and you see it. I'm squishing this all together. I'm integrating everything into this, and I got to get one thing out that I didn't get out. One of the most important things that I put in my bread when I make it is eggs. And I put an excessive number of eggs. And there is some teaching out there that eggs are not good for you, and that they cause problems with your body. And science has now determined that that is absolutely not true. The egg has had quite a bit of disrespect in the past, and we should not continue to listen to those who say that eggs are bad for you. They are a perfect food. They do not do what some people have said. The scientific tests that they ran on to determine it were skewed, and as many are, because the people that wanted to sell you eggs had a lot of investment in the results of the tests. Now, you must realize that when someone wants to make money and they place themselves in a position where they can influence the society, that they will tell you that something is bad for you when it is not bad for you. And if it's to their benefit, we live in a society that's defined by social Darwinism, the survival of the fittest. I'm personally very against that and choose not to live that way. And living in a world such as this, it isn't easy. So I'm putting eggs in here, and I don't know. Actually, I have not decided ahead of time how many eggs I'm going to put in. Now, that's one of the jokes that came up to mind today, all about my ex. I was married for 43 years, and my ex decided she had enough of me. And subsequently, I did a lot of study and research, and I was trying to figure out how that happened after 43 years. And I did come to realize, studying about the human brain, that some of us are linear thinkers. Now, my ex was definitely a linear thinker. A linear thinker has to plan everything out ahead of time, sure she does, and she has to have a plan that's written down, step by step. She walks through it, and then sure, she accomplishes one, and then she accomplishes another, and then she accomplishes one more, and then she looks back at what she did, and she says, well, the angle's not off, so let's tear the deck down and start all over. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't willing to do that. We built a deck, an enormous, ridiculously complicated deck, and we have no experience making a deck, but she is an absolute genius at looking at patterns and things. That's part of the benefit of a linear brain, a linear thinker. Now, I am certainly as far away from being a linear thinker as a human being can be. I'm an artist, so I do not plan anything ahead of time. I simply do, and I create. And when I do and I create, if anyone is watching me, they will scream and grab their hair and run out of the house, because I am not a linear thinker. I am what they call in education, I am an eclectic thinker. And as an eclectic thinker, or they all could say non-linear thinker, that's a better name, probably even more clear. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm telling you my philosophy blues. I'm an armchair philosopher. So I'm also a crazy chef, and never mind what else I am. I'm putting avocado in my bread. Now, I don't know if that makes you cringe or gets you feeling uncomfortable that I'm putting avocado in my bread, but I'm doing it, and whether you like it or not. And you don't have to watch. If you have a weak stomach and you suffer with watching people do things that in your mind are very foolish, and you aren't able to suspend your belief for a second to kind of experiment with things that you maybe have learned your whole life were things you should not do. And of course, we don't want to do anything illegal. We know that these drugs that people take, they are, I was raised in Phoenix. Anyway, this is how my mind works all the time. I'm sorry. Anyway, you wouldn't want to live me, but you might be able to tolerate me for a few minutes. So I've got this yeast. It's very happy over here. It's doing this yeasty thing. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put the yeast in it now. Here's my yeast. And I put yeast in. I did. Well, you didn't see it, but it happened. I know that according to Kate and Leopold, if a woman doesn't see it, you didn't do it. And so now I've got ginger. I'm going to put ginger in there, and I am going to put garlic in there. And you may say, oh my God, how much garlic is he going to put in there? I'm also going to put lemon in there. And what else am I going to put? I'm getting close to the end of my plan here as far as what I'm going to put in there. I have got some other things. I've got some sprouted pumpkin seeds, and I've got some sprouted sunflower seeds, and I have some pulled Kemp seeds. My intention is to put them in my splatter caster, also known as a Vitamix. And I am going to grind them into a pulp and turn them into a flour. And then I'm going to pour them once again into my mixture here. So, I may also put a little of this in there. Now, this is a no-no, You don't want to do this if you want to be free from poison, because this has poison in it. This has refined sugar. Now it's interesting, when you look at the label and you want to see if there is refined sugar in something, the refined sugar can be named in so many creative ways. I mean, we certainly have artists that are looking at this and renaming the sugar that we have, so that they can put refined sugar in your things. I'm putting a little molasses in, not a lot, because it's powerful stuff. So I put just a drop of molasses. You probably would never imagine that it was in there, because I don't put very much. I've learned the hard way not to do that. So anyhow, the sugar, they call it cane sugar. They call it, oh man, I think I've seen about 15 different names. I can't remember them all because my brain's not good enough to do that. But I can't. I'm telling you, I can't. So I also put baking powder, and I don't measure anything, because a crazy chef like me, who's an eclectic thinker and an artist, does not measure. So you'll never be able, I never have. I have followed painstakingly follow the recipe. And you know what? When I painstakingly follow the recipe, I get results that are good. And then when I make that same thing again, I follow the recipe again. And I find that I've never been able to duplicate the identical product twice. So I came to believing that it was futile to follow any recipe, because you're not going to get the same thing twice whether you do or not. Now, if you're someone who makes things and you get things right every time and you get the same product every time, I'd like to know about that. So I'm mixing these things together. I'm going to get my mixer out. I'm going to blenderize it very well. And I'm going to stop now, because I'm almost a half an hour into this. So the next session of the crazy Irish chef, DW, it's getting longer. Anyway, crazy Irish chef, maybe that's good enough. I'm DW. My name is Donald William Russell. It is. And you know that I'm very happy being Donald W. Russell. And I'm going to be talking to you later. So where I am. And I want you to know that I'm okay. I'm crazy, but I don't really act like this all the time. I'm just doing it to be funny. So I'm going to let you go now, and you can watch for the second session of bread making with the crazy chef, Donald W. Russell. And why don't you, because you're my friends, call me DW, and please subscribe to my channel, because YouTube won't recognize that I exist unless I have at least 1,000 subscribers, and all I've got is I've gotten a lot more lately, but I was at 70 when I started doing this. Now I think I'm at around 90, 87 or 90 subscribers. So I'm really working my little tail off, and I have a very little tail. In fact, some people call me a no-butt wonder. Anyway, I'm going to, never mind, I can't remember what I was going to say. All right, now I'm going to say goodbye now, and I'm going to continue to work on my bread. And I will come back with another session, but I've told you pretty much everything I think that I'm going to do. And I am, oh, wait, I'm going to put some cinnamon in. Cinnamon. Have you ever heard the story of the way that cinnamon got its name? I might tell you that story someday. I don't know if I want to right now. I happen to know the exact way that this condiment got its name, and it was in China. Actually, there's debate on whether he was from China. I think he was from several places, but actually, now it escapes my mind. I was studying it. I'll have to refresh my memory on actually what country he came from. But this was a young man. This is a very young man. He was having a lot of trouble emotionally with many things. And so he went on a journey. And at the end of his journey, this condiment was named based on the things that happened in his life. So I'm going to share that with you someday. Now, I put a lot of cinnamon in because I like cinnamon. So when you put these things together, you don't get the flavor that you think you're going to. Now, I'm also going to get this Mexican vanilla. I get this from a special place, shipped to me. And it is a bottle like this of vanilla is $3.95, and it's pure vanilla. I'm never telling anybody where I get it. So I'm going to put a bunch of this in there because I like vanilla a lot, and I get it at a very low price. So that's pretty much all that I'm going to put in this. Now I'm going to mix it together with my squishing device, and then I'm going to mix it with my mixing device, and then I'm going to put painstakingly get the thing to be the right consistency by putting more and more flour in it until I like it. And then I'm going to be back with what I do later on. And if you have absolutely hated this session, please don't watch the next one. If you've had any fun with me today, as that's my goal is to have fun, then please join me in the next crazy Irish chef episode. Thank you very much. Have a great day and be COVID friendly.